All right, tech enthusiasts, buckle up. Today we're talking about DeepSeek, a name that's been making serious waves in the AI world. This Chinese startup has quietly, or rather, not so quietly, been turning the AI industry on its head. They've released a series of impressive open-source models that are not only competitive with, but even surpassing the capabilities of some of the biggest names in the game. And it's all happening at a fraction of the cost. Imagine creating a high-quality image in seconds, rivaling the best out there, and without breaking the bank. That's the DeepSeek promise. This is a huge development because it really challenges some of the deeply ingrained assumptions about how much resources are actually required to create world-class AI. This absolutely isn't to say that AI is cheap. The engineering, talent, and compute that go into these models is huge, but DeepSeek is really showing that it's possible to be far more efficient than many of the big players in the US and Europe. We're talking about a company that's managed to achieve what others considered impossible, delivering top-tier AI at a remarkably affordable price point. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Forget the billion-dollar valuations. DeepSeek is showing the innovative spirit of small, agile teams that are willing to push the boundaries. We'll be dissecting their latest release, Janus Pro, in this video, but we'll start with a quick recap of what made this company such a big deal in the first place. Before we dive into the details of Janus Pro, let's quickly rewind to DeepSeek's previous release, the R1 chatbot. Remember, this wasn't just any chatbot. It completely rocked the boat. It hit the top of the Apple App Store charts in a matter that alone is pretty impressive, but what really sent shockwaves through the tech world and across Wall Street was the fact that they claimed to have built this thing with a tiny fraction of open-source resources, and for what they've said was a ridiculously small budget. We're talking something in the order of a few millions dollars, in contrast to the billions poured into companies like OpenAI. And the best part of all? The model's completely open source, available for absolutely anyone to download, use, and modify. This was a real wake-up call, especially to investor types who look at the market caps of these big AI companies and see just how bloated and overvalued many of them are. Wall Street reacted accordingly, obviously, with investors dumping considerable amounts of AI stocks in a frantic sell-off. Suddenly, this unknown Chinese startup had become a major threat, and the market reflected that reality. Now, while the impact of R1 is still unfolding, it's undoubtedly laid the foundation for DeepSeek's latest success with its incredible Janus Pro family of models. Now, let's get into the main event, Janus Pro. This is DeepSeek's brand new AI image generator, and it's a serious contender, folks. We're talking about a model that's already shown impressive results in benchmarking tests, outperforming established players like OpenAI's DALL-E 3 and Stability AI's Stable Diffusion, especially its latest text-to-image models. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Another AI image generator? What's so special about this one? Well, it's not just the performance. It's also the context and the implications that make Janus Pro so significant and unique. Janus Pro is a multimodal model, meaning it's not just capable of generating images from a text prompt. It can actually analyze images and understand what they are, a feat not usually seen in AI-generated imagery. It takes a complex input, including text and an image, and quickly generates an output that meets and exceeds existing standards. Imagine asking your AI to create an image of a cat wearing a cowboy hat, and then asking the system to make that hat bigger or the cat's eyes bluer. That's the type of impressive capability you can expect from Janus Pro. So, while I'm sure there's going to be plenty of discussion on benchmarks, that's not what makes this tool so exciting for me. For me, the real story isn't about pure numbers, but about the potential implications of accessibility and affordability. We already have a range of AI image models available on the market, but not all of them are accessible to everyone. DeepSeek is changing that with its open-source approach, and I think that's what gives this company the edge. To start, the best way to test the model is to head over to its official links on Hugging Face. Now, let's talk about the broader implications of DeepSeek's success. Their groundbreaking work challenges the existing AI landscape, particularly the dominance of established players like OpenAI and Stability AI. These companies have poured billions into developing their AI models, relying on incredibly expensive infrastructure, and yet, DeepSeek seemingly achieved comparable results with significantly fewer resources. This has huge implications for the wider ecosystem. The market is suddenly feeling a lot more competitive, which is good for consumers such as us and, well, probably not so good for the investors betting big on these established companies. The sudden drop in valuations has sent a shiver down the spines of many Wall Street investors. The reality is that these massive AI models cost an insane amount to scale. Each generation requires a certain level of computational power, which has led to massive demand for high-end GPUs, especially those from companies like NVIDIA, whose stock has also plummeted considerably since the launch of DeepSeek's R1 chatbot. These GPUs are expensive, and the increasing competition, it's unlikely that the market will suddenly become more affordable for those who need access to these critical components, but it's almost inevitably going to shift the power balance. It may also change how some of these companies are ultimately valued. Will we see a more equitable distribution of the gains of AI in the coming years? Will we also see a stronger focus on efficiency and less on ever bigger models? Only time will tell, but this is, without doubt, a very pivotal moment in the history of AI that makes DeepSeek's efforts even more noteworthy. One of the most significant aspects of DeepSeek's approach is their commitment to open source development. This is a really big deal because it dramatically boosts accessibility for researchers, developers, and the broader AI community and puts the capabilities of advanced AI into the hands of far more people. This stands in direct contrast to the proprietary, closed-source models adopted by many of DeepSeek's competitors. By making their models available for free, DeepSeek is not only fostering collaboration but also accelerating innovation. It is much easier for the community to build on the tools and create improvements, which results in more dynamic and faster innovation cycles. This type of open-source development is critical for bringing new talent into the AI field and allowing organizations of all sizes to leverage the potential of AI without getting trapped in cost-related limitations. It's democratizing AI, it's fostering a more inclusive environment, and frankly, it's what I think makes this approach so innovative and exciting. In terms of ethical considerations, this also makes this approach unique, as many are wondering about the ethical implications of AI image generators and how to avoid training on copyrighted art. DeepSeek's decision to remain open and transparent adds a new wave of positivity to the conversation around AI development and use. I think the community is going to be excited to play with these models. What are some ways that more people could benefit from an open-source approach such as DeepSeek's? Is this likely to be a consistent approach? And how will companies like OpenAI and Stability AI react to it? Of course, when we talk about AI, it's impossible to ignore the ethical considerations. One of the big concerns around the use of AI image generators is the issue of copyright infringement and the use of existing artwork for training these AI models. Most AI image generators on the market have been trained on images scraped indiscriminately from the internet, and many of these images have been taken from artists without consent or payment. Many creators are fighting to prevent their work from being used this way, and there's increasing legal challenges to these platforms by creative professionals. There's also growing concern over the misuse of AI-generated images. For example, the ability to create fake photos or videos of real people poses serious challenges for those who fear misinformation or the spread of malicious content that could harm others. DeepSeek's open-source approach, however, has actually introduced a new dimension into the conversation surrounding AI ethics and usage. By creating models that are easily accessible, transparent, and modifiable, the company empowers the wider community of AI practitioners to understand how these systems function and to engage in the debates concerning AI usage and ethical considerations. It could also be argued that open-source tools of this type might even help to mitigate some of the issues associated with copyright infringement. By allowing greater community scrutiny and contributions, users might help to identify and combat the replication or misuse of copyrighted artwork. How do you think that the AI industry will evolve in response to DeepSeek's approach to open-source software? What other ethical aspects of AI image generation should be addressed, especially now AI video generators are increasingly popularizing? So, what does all this mean for the future of AI? Well, it's kind of hard to say for sure, but it feels like a truly pivotal moment. DeepSeek's achievements really challenge some of the deep-seated assumptions around AI development, the resources required, and the market dynamics. Their success suggests a shift in the balance of power within the AI industry, with a greater focus on efficiency and accessibility, and this is really exciting for those of us who want to see more diverse contributions and less reliance on massive capital investments. As you've seen from our deep dive on AI image generators and how to avoid using copyrighted artwork without permission or payment, there's plenty of attention on those issues. DeepSeek's open-source approach suggests that greater transparency could help make this ethical debate easier to address. By making AI tools more readily available to a wider community, particularly those who are able to contribute to the evolution of these systems, it might be possible to address some of those challenges more promptly and collaboratively. It could also be that some of the big AI players are going to have to drastically rethink their pricing strategies. With more powerful generative AI tools available at significantly lower costs, it seems inevitable that things are going to have to change. With that being said, how do you anticipate DeepSeek's success impacting the AI market? What are some of the critical steps for developers to continue pushing the boundaries of AI while ensuring ethical and responsible innovation.